This weekend, Ryan is buying some proper prepper gear, Andy's tossing dice, and we mold some clay friends. I'm Ryan,
I'm Andy.
and this is Weekend Rental, episode 153. Back again. Have you done anything other than play Tears of the Kingdom?
Not much.
Because I haven't.
It hasn't even been a lot of that either, but
No, I
pretty
will
much
say
all
sadly I
done.
haven't played as much of that as I'd like either, but when I have, it's been that. How many hours do you think you're in now?
Probably around 30 to 40, somewhere in that range, I'd say.
Okay, I was gonna say that's probably my estimate. I'm probably solidly into 40 at this point.
And I feel like I've gotten nothing done.
Yeah, well, I mean, talk about a game that just always throws something at you. You know, it's bad enough that it's just like, well, what's that thing over there in the distance? But then everybody and their brother turns into a side quest. So, like, on the way to finish one quest, you're doing like 7 other side quests, and then there's a Korok seed that needs carrying, and I don't know, man. It's I've gotten a lot of shrines done. I think I've probably got I would guess I have 14 or 15 hearts at this point. I've got 2 full stamina wheels.
Okay,
and I've unlocked the full map.
Okay, yep.
I haven't gone back into the underground more than I needed to. I did the labyrinth. Have you done the labyrinth?
No, I don't know if I knew how to get in there.
Okay, so you'll find a labyrinth. It's most prominent from the sky view, but basically it's a 3-level labyrinth. So there's layers on the main level of the sky, then below, and you have to complete all 3 pieces to like finish that.
Oh, it's the one up in the sky?
Yeah, that's one part of it, but yeah.
Oh, okay. So you go down. Okay.
So yeah, you have to go. You end up the order you having to go is like middle top depths, basically. But
that's why
I got through that, and then you get some armor, which that was kind of cool. But that took me back to the underground. Like you end in the underground, and all I did was like open every treasure chest in the labyrinth, and then I peeked out, and I was like, nope, not going into any of this. Like I'm just ignoring this part of the game. Don't care. And that day I played. Must have been Sunday. Yeah, Sunday was the day I really dove into it, and that was the main thing I knocked out besides unlocking the map. But we've talked a little bit about the hands, right?
And yeah.
So
I've not killed one yet.
Okay, so I've killed one, but sometimes there's things. I'm probably not spoiling too much here, but what can happen is if you kill the hand, that isn't the end of it. Sometimes you get a shadow phantom Ganon. And he comes to kill you. And for the life of me, I can't parry to save my life. And he just wrecks me. I got him down like a third. And then like, because he's like a phantom, he eats up your ability to respawn hearts. And that Sunday, for whatever reason, every time the hands spawned, the hands were spawning on me constantly. And every time they spawned Phantom Ganon, and I was getting so fucking pissed. It was literally like every corner I turned with these damn hands, to the point where I was just laying down the controller. I'm like, nope, you were going to kill me. I'm going to move on with my life. This isn't fun. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, again, it doesn't happen every time. Maybe it happens once you get to a certain point with like hearts and stuff that he always spawns, but yeah, like 6 encounters, and it just wrecked my day, and I was getting pissed. Those hands terrify me.
Yeah, I've stayed away from them every time I've crossed them. I've tried to kill them, but you got to kill them all in one pretty quick swoop. Otherwise they keep coming back.
Yeah, if you can't get high ground, you're fucked. It's not even, I mean, there's probably a better strategy, but for me, it's high ground, just bomb arrows, and then hopefully they go away and I don't have Shadow or Phantom Ganon or whatever. So
there was a chasm up in the top right, kind of on an island. I think it's Tinkle Island or something like that.
Yeah, I saw the name on that one. I've been meaning to get up there, but I haven't been up.
I went down in that chasm, and that is probably the worst part of the underground that I have found.
Okay. Note to self: stay away.
It is just pit upon pit and then just a bunch of the blue rocks that you have to smash. So it's just constantly like creating new hammers.
Ugh.
And of course you run out, and then you're like, okay, well, I have to backtrack to find a rock to make a new hammer. And then you just go and go and go. Kept getting lost in there. Couldn't get any higher. It was a bad time in there. And then I finally found the fruit at the end. It was a chest with something really cool.
Probably Tingle outfit, I'm hoping. On Tingle
It's
Island.
pretty cool.
Okay, I'll have to go there eventually.
I don't think it's Tingle. I don't think it's Tingle, but could be. But then as soon as I opened that chest, immediately the hands got me right there.
Oh, really? Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah, I've noticed that they like to trigger that to like certain stuff. Like I've done a few things where they definitely plan on having the hands surprise you there.
Yeah.
Like it gets you every time. I was really getting pissed off too with the rocks and the hammers and stuff. I don't know if you've done the side quest yet. At Lookout Landing, like in the bunker, there's a lady who like hears something through a wall. So then
that's a whole thing too.
Yeah. So then there's like a whole labyrinth of stuff that gets you into the castle, but it's like same thing. I was like, are you effing kidding me? I got like 80 more rocks to break. I don't have any more stones to attach to any more swords. And then they give you like one fucking bomb flower. Just make it. That's where the breaking stuff holds the game back. Like it's those instances where it's like, this is just bullshit, terrible resource management.
Yeah.
And you're making the game not fun. Like this could be a really cool exploration moment, but instead it's this painstaking grind to like make sure I have enough resources. Yeah.
Yeah. That I definitely get that part. That's not cool. No. You pretty much just have to fill. I mean, even like an axe, you always have to carry an axe around too. It's like, well, there's a slot you have to keep, and
Speaking of that, did you rebuild the town?
I haven't
gotten
there yet. No, I haven't gotten there yet.
Okay, well, like there's a fetch quest there where it requires you to have 11 logs, right? So there's one patch where you can get everything you need without having to really travel. I had 11 logs all ready to go. And nighttime came and an enemy, like the skeleton enemies, spawned out of the ground. So I swung with my axe to attack it and busted one of the logs. And there were no more trees to harvest.
Oh, man.
And it broke my hammer, or it broke my axe. So I had nothing else to cut more trees down with. So I was just pissed. And then on top of that, like I thought I could just, I'll get this down to the town by like hucking it down this road, which will work as like a big slide, I'll watch my thing slide right down to where I need to get it to. Oh no, the game like despawned it.
What?
So, yeah. Even though it was in my view, I got down there, all my hard work was gone. It was like the biggest like triple slap in the face. I still am finding myself pretty amazed by a lot of it though. Just like the sheer scope of it all, just the way you can cheese pretty much everything, especially if you remember Recall and Ascend. And then I've noticed though, like they made some pretty horrific choices as far as like, why would you put in like giant 100-foot like waving flag banners if you can't render them in at more than like 2 frames a second? Like they probably just shouldn't have put some of that stuff in.
No, yeah.
Because it really punches holes in the engine. But
yeah.
I'm still loving it.
Oh, go
ahead.
I'm finding that I am using the sky too much. If I would need to travel somewhere, if I'm like, I want to go to this spot, I either find a rock to go to the sky, or I just find the nearest tower and shoot myself up and fly over. And it's like, well, how much of this stuff are you missing?
Right. No, I do exactly the same thing.
There,
Yeah, there's no need for a horse almost because you just like recall rocks and I do the same thing. And you're probably right. You probably do miss a lot, but eventually you'll get back down there, right?
All those signs that the guy's just holding up.
That's my favorite thing. Like it's so dumb, but I just love finding him and like slapping stuff together. Like I don't even try anymore. You know, at first I'd be like, well, I'm gonna make this look like nice and proper and like it would function. And now I'm just like basically throwing piles of garbage under that thing because the game doesn't seem to care.
No, there was one that I spent a good 5 minutes on, I'd say.
Oh, really?
Because it wasn't in the ground anyway, so you had to make sure it wouldn't tip any direct. It would just tip any direction, basically.
Okay.
So you had to surround it and make sure it like didn't fall down like at all. That one was a little bit tougher.
Interesting.
But overall, yeah, it's just like take this wood and just
the
under here.
The wildest one I found was just like one where he's just like randomly out on like a big boulder, because usually he's right next to those supply things. He was just like in the middle of nowhere on a rock, and I was like, okay, I guess I'll just pile rocks up. Like this is fine. But yeah, it's a fun side thing. I feel a little guilty, like I'm putting up signs for like Putin or something because like I don't know what the sign says. So like, is this monster going to take over Hyrule or what's going to happen? Have you completed any of the main areas yet? Or you did
I've done the one water dungeon. Yep.
Oh, you've done that one.
That's the only one that I've done.
Okay, that's the one I'm on right now. And I didn't intend to do a second one right now, but I was just out exploring again, looking for shrines, and I just happened to be in that area. So I just started it. I got through most of that. It's kind of a fun chain of events that leads you up to that. So now I'm up in the sky traveling towards stuff. I feel a little awkward, like the conversation you interrupt between like Zora and like, it's just like, I felt that it seems like those two have like some physical needs.
That's a shotgun wedding, right?
Yeah, right. Like I felt like she was like, I have to tell you, like I was like, oh, she's pregnant. But yeah, aside from the underground, which my nitpick aside, I think I'm very, very pleased with the game continuing on. Like I wasn't sure, like I was having some real issues with some stuff, but minus like some of the constant breaking. Did you notice too that it seems to pull in your save data from Breath of the Wild? Like when you unlock the second and third horse, I got a second horse for my first game. I didn't stable another horse. I just went there. I just went back and Dangus was there again. I was like, what the heck? And I didn't think much about it. I was like, well, maybe I just don't remember. And I played late one night and I stabled another horse. But then my boss comes in the next day. He's like, does it pull like data? I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, because I have a horse and it's the horse from the first game. I was like, well, now that you mention that, I didn't put too much thought into it, but I definitely didn't stable a second horse. So yeah, it must, which is kind of cool. Dumb. Huh. But because I don't use horses at all.
No, I don't either anymore, but that's a pretty good way. That would be like the one thing that you could import, you know?
Yeah.
That doesn't really break the game.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was kind of a neat touch. I watched a great video on, somebody posted it from Reddit, where someone built a metal cage and threw a electric jelly in there and then attached a bunch of like Zoron devices, and every time the thing zaps, it's like endless energy. It was like the endless energy train, which is like this big box with fan blades that like rolls across the ground. Like, it's not ethical, but it works. It's like, that's pretty cool. I had never thought about trying that. Kind of makes me wonder too, because like I suppose you could do the same thing with like the shock arrows and just like shoot a Zonai device or whatever, and it would just take off.
Just keep going. Yeah. So like you can only travel those things so far, right?
Before they have like a deterioration rate, it seems like. I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of a bummer because like the things that you see that people make is just crazy. But
Yeah.
If you can't even like take them across the map, it's like, well, what's the point?
Well, and I wonder if it's different for like vehicle stuff always, like if that is always durable, like wheels and stuff. But it seems like anything that flies for sure, like definitely. I guess I've never driven a vehicle on the ground that eventually disappeared.
That's true. It's always been flying things where it starts blinking and then you disappears or whatever.
Which I suppose they have to do, otherwise, like that would completely break a lot of what they've designed in the game, right? Like you just fly to the top of every major sky like dungeon. Yeah. It's crazy though, like how many of those devices there are. Like just when you think you've seen like everything, you go to a new area and there's one you've never seen before. It's like, wow, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Like how much stuff is in here.
I was like going to those gumball machines and just putting Zonite or whatever in it to get a whole bunch of stuff. But now it just like every time I put that in there, it just like gives it back.
Oh, really?
Doesn't give me anything. Yeah. So I'm like, am I like maxed out or something?
And you don't want to do and you don't want to do like that Zonite, right? Because you want to save that so you can convert it into the core thing, so you can get like the pure. Because you gotta get 100 of those like triangle shaped ones. I know.
Yeah, like I don't understand what all that does. I thought that was just like purifying it to a like storage or something, or not.
Yeah, so if they refine like the orby looking ones so they refine the ore to get the orbs, and if you can refine the orbs, you can get like the power crystal things, and if you get 100 of those, it doubles your battery basically. So then you can power everything like more. What I've been throwing in
that's the battery that you carry.
Yes. Okay. So if you get 100, I think you can do it twice where you can like fully upgrade your battery at least. I've not been able, because I thought it was 100 of the little orbs, right? So that was my mission. Was like, I'm gonna get 100 of those and cash them in. I went and talked to the guy and he's like, you don't have 100. I'm like, what? So I looked and I had the name wrong. It was the triangle things, which you can buy off of the mining crew at that first sky place. So I just go there every so often and buy them out.
Yeah. I found a couple other places that do that. They're in the ground, but yeah.
Okay. I'll have to look for that because that's what I need. But yeah, with the vending machine, I mostly throw the horns in because the horns will give you horns off. Off of the guardian creatures. Yeah. Not like monster horns, but all the other horns will give you.
Didn't know that. Okay.
And so will the ball things, like the energy balls, like the big ones will give you 10 and the other ones give you 5, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe that's what it was. Maybe I got that confused. I was using the charges and then I probably switched to the ore, which the ore doesn't work. That makes sense.
I love that there's just like gumball machines that dispense things for you. It's like gachapon, right? Yeah. I always try to like throw whatever I can in there just so I get a stockpile. It's always though, like it gives me like 5 of the thing I already have 10 of, and like I just want like a fire hydrant, but I can't get one,
Yeah.
Because there's certain areas of the game where I'm sure you eventually unlock abilities to like cheese that stuff and get around it, but like otherwise, like I just feel like I have to use those devices, otherwise I would never like solve the thing they want me to solve.
Mm-hmm.
But
have you got the last power?
The
purple power? Nope.
Purple power? No.
Yeah. Okay.
No.
That's a power that you can use that Zonite stuff as a shortcut to get things. So
okay. Yeah, I'll have to take a look. I'm curious now. I suppose it's looking like I'll get like a water attack then, a permanent water attack after beating the fish area based on everything there. So do you have 2 spirit people then following you, or how do you manage that at that point?
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea how that works.
It annoys me because I've got one person already following me.
Have you upgraded them too? I don't know.
You can upgrade them.
Yeah. So if you get Sage's Will or whatever.
Okay, I've gotten that.
If you get 4 of them, you take those to the statues.
Oh, really?
And then they'll upgrade your guy to your companion too.
Okay, cool. Good to know. I'll have to do that. Yeah.
The water guy is really good in the desert because it's like just,
protective bubble.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good way to cheese it. It seems like that's the one they want you to really go to first or second, and then like Goron, it sounds like, is the next one. The desert's the last, which that's kind of how the order I did it in the last time I played too. Is like I hated the desert area, so I just did that last.
That's kind of Ocarina of Time too, is desert last.
Yeah, and I think like the volcano's not active in the Goron area from everything that people are telling me, so it might be really easy to get up in there this time. But maybe I'm being too optimistic.
Yeah, I haven't even gone up there.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun. I've gotten a lot more confident with like some of the bigger enemies too. And just I'm still not good at the combat, but I'll take more on now.
I did notice like when I was down in that cave underneath Lookout Landing, and then there's different things splitting off. That to me is a problem where it's like I don't know which way to go. At least in an open field, it's like, well, I can't possibly know which way to go because there's a million different ways to go. But once it's down there, it's like, which way do I go? It's a lot of backtracking.
Yeah, the map doesn't really show you because it's an unofficial passage, and
yeah,
I just thought it was weird that gets you into the castle because it's like I'm pretty sure that castle's like fully floating in the sky. I don't know how I just like popped my head up into there, but we're gonna video games, right? Did you talk to the guy in the kitchen up there?
And in the castle?
Yeah.
Or no, I didn't. Yeah. I got in the castle and I got hit by a couple guys. I'm like, I am not supposed to be here.
No, yeah, you're definitely not. I got attacked by some guys too, but then you end up running into a couple NPCs, and there's somebody who wants you to make like a specific recipe. You can clearly tell it's what he's hinting at. And I, of course, had like all but like one of the ingredients. I was like, son of a bitch. Like I'm never coming back here to finish this side quest. Like,
no,
I'm done with it. Yeah. Yeah.
I finally found the guy that takes the bubble gems or whatever.
The Creepy Brothers, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. How many times have you ran into him? Just the once?
A couple times. I have like 3 masks now, I think.
Do you have the shirt?
I don't think so. No.
Okay. Yeah, he gave me a shirt that supposedly, I haven't worn it because it seems like a bad trade-off, but supposedly you don't take hearts, you don't lose hearts at all from damage, it just takes rupees. But I was like, but rupees are so much harder to get. Like, I can just cook a bunch of food.
Yep.
So I haven't put it on. But yeah, that guy, those two guys freak me the fuck out.
Yep.
They're just unsettling. I finally found the Korok guy too after forever. I found him this last weekend here. I had like 55 Korok seeds.
Yeah. That takes a long time to burn through those.
Well, and I was like, he's got to be like, I kind of figured he was around Kakarika Village, right? Because like I really just didn't go back to the central area at all. But I was like, this is where he was last time. He'll be on the road somewhere. And then I like fucking went back to Lookout Landing for something because everybody was telling me to go to Lookout Landing to find the Carpenter asshole, and I couldn't find him there. And I'm walking past to look over in the corner. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, he's been literally standing here this whole time. I was pissed. So, yeah, I upgraded everything, which is nice because the weapons, I feel like they start you off with an ample enough slots, but like those bows, when you can only carry the 4 bows and they break every 3 shots, it's like, holy shit.
You can't hardly hold anything good either.
No. Yeah. Glad I got that figured out finally, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's quite a game. I think they said that this is going to be like the thing going forward. They're just going to keep making this style. Which I wonder, like, can you do this map? Can you do the map one more time or not?
No.
I don't think so.
I'm already kind of finding myself a little annoyed with, like, you know, especially like the Zora area, like the water area. When you get back there, and it's like you instantly knew where to go. It's like, oh yeah, I was here. Like I just traversed these waterfalls again, and you know, that's where it's kind of like that, where that sense of discovery is lost. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the first game, you know, you chase that guy up all those waterfalls.
Yeah,
and that was fun. And now this one is just like, hey, you could just fly to there. You just get up to Zora's.
Right. You know? Well, yeah, even like that, even that sky dungeon on that one. They're like, clearly they intended you to like use the waterfall thing. Like, I'm like, no, I'm just gliding everywhere. Like, I'm not. Why am I wasting my time with the waterfalls? Yeah, I like that. I like that idea that they would keep the open world, but like, I think it needs a pretty big shakeup after this. I think a third one of these is like, especially if they're going to keep the braking mechanics and stuff. Like, I mean, they've reinvented the game, right? There's different timelines, different dimensions. Just, I mean, I want them to keep a lot of the stuff, but I don't want them to do Assassin's Creed. Or maybe Assassin's Creed's the wrong one, but like Far Cry. I don't want them to Far Cry, Zelda. Like it shouldn't just be another flavor of that every time. And then yeah. I mean, it is such an ambitious game considering it's Nintendo. You know what I mean? It's so out of what they do. Mm-hmm. So I get why they'd be excited about it, but I don't think you can do this forever.
Well, and how do you keep adding to that, like the building system in this thing too? You're damn near, you're bumping up pretty close to a survival game at that point.
Right. I will say they've done a really good job this time around making the shrines a ton of fun. Like, there were a lot of shrines in the first game that like you just either couldn't get through because you didn't have the right thing, or they were just really frustrating, but I think I've enjoyed virtually all of them. There's maybe been one or two where I get stuck, but I've not had to walk away from any of them.
No, they're the perfect amount where you're like, you don't know immediately what to do, but it'll guide you. It points you in the right direction enough to figure it out. Yeah. But also make you feel like, yeah, I figured that out, Like
I'm a genius. I had a pretty good genius moment the other day where I went into a cave. I felt like a genius. And there was like a couple things in the cave. And there's also just like a board. I was like, well, that's weird because why do you need a board? The cave doesn't go anywhere. And then I like floated the board out into the water and stood on it and then ascended and ended up in like a sealed cavern with like a chest and like one of those bubble frog things.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, I'm the smartest man alive. Even though there was a pretty strong hint, but yeah, it's those little moments like that outweigh a lot of the frustration. I do get a little annoyed with like the silent protagonist thing because in this game, it's very evident that he isn't really silent, right? Like he's talking to everybody, but it's just like them reiterating back, oh, so you have seen, and it's just like, well, let's just give him dialogue. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because like in the first game, I feel like there wasn't a lot of back and forth. It was like people talk at you. But this one, it's clear that Link is engaged in conversation. So it's just weird that he doesn't talk at all or really animate at all. Like there's not even like gestures, like why didn't they give him like shoulder shrug like for talk or something?
Yeah, that's true.
It's odd.
Yeah. I think he's on the spectrum somewhere. He's probably.
Well, he's got to be. Yeah. Well, I could go on forever, but I don't want to spoil too much for everybody. And I'm going to have more updates next time too, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. This is going to
be I'll be going on vacation, so I don't know how much I'll be playing.
Oh, sure.
Speaking of that, I guess I didn't have any other topics, but I've been buying all sorts of fun stuff because we changed our trip, so we're going to go spend a few days camping, and the campsite I ended up getting was just like a standard non-electric or whatever. So then I use that as an excuse to buy one of those solar generators that I've always wanted. So then I got that, and I got the solar panel, and I found like a hot pot that I could run off of it at like 200 volts. I ordered battery cable chargers so I could theoretically be out in nature and charge my boat battery off of my power bank, and it's getting pretty fun. I did the math, and I think like it takes about 3 hours to fully charge my battery bank with solar panel in like good conditions. I got it working pretty good. Like I had to buy some cables for it because it didn't come with. They sell it for their product, but it doesn't include the cable to hook it to the actual bank itself, which is stupid.
So you got the panel with the bank, but not the cable?
Yeah, and I bought the branded, like same, like this is the company's product. But yeah, then they don't sell you the adapter. Like it was dumb. But anyway, it's a good panel. It's like 110 watts, which is better than like some of the competition. And then you never get that, but I was getting like 90 some watts, which is pretty good.
That's pretty good, yeah.
So I did the math and all this, like figure out like my return on investment and whatnot, and like it works out like roughly with what I pay for electricity in North Dakota. Like I'm basically like charging that, and that's the equivalent of like $6. So like, I let's say I do that 80 times, I've paid everything off, and then I'm like, green energy there at that point. So
yep.
But it doesn't do as much as I'd like. I mean, it only goes up to like 600 watts in boost mode. It's like you really can't do a lot of appliances. Like that hot pot thing, I could probably run for like an hour and 20 minutes if it wasn't solar generating.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's still pretty cool. Like I've basically just been using that as my power bank to power my Switch and my phones. Like I just charge it off of that, and then just to kind of see how long the battery will last. And I've recharged it fully once off the sun. I'm still at like 50%. So
really? So on a really sunny day, how long does that take to
3 hours max?
Okay.
Is what they say. Ideal conditions.
Sure.
And then and that's the reason I bought the brand I did, the EcoFlow, because they're the fastest charging. They regenerate better than the competition. And actually, if you plug it into the wall, it only takes an hour. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's pretty good. But yeah, so I bought all sorts of stuff. I got like USB powered like fans and stuff for camping, and I bought some USB light strings that will run off that, so we'll have like electricity like for lights.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be like pretty cool glamping. Like, and then I want to do a camping trip then this summer, I think, where I just go somewhere for like 4 days and like push my battery to the limits with like my boat and stuff potentially too, and just see if I could like actually charge it to get back.
Yeah.
Because I think it would probably take me like, it'd probably be a 3-day process to get my battery from dead to fully charged, because I'm guessing it would take 3 full electric generator cycles to recharge a car 12-volt battery. Deep cycle battery is my guess. Maybe I'm wrong, but yeah. Still pretty cool. Lots of possibilities.
And you can set the voltage on that or not? Or is it all...
So it kind of does it on its own. It's got a USB-C, which you can also recharge through USB-C, which is funny. So It's got a USB-C and then 2 USB ports, and then it's got a DC like cigarette plug, and then like you can toggle that on and off along with the 110. So it's got 2 110 ports also, and it just kind of self-regulates its wattage and stuff based on the device you have. So
sure,
it'll give you like a reading on how much you're drawing, and like how much time you have left at this current pace of consumption. So
really, so it hooks up to like an app or something, or
no? I mean, you can.
See it right on.
It's got its own display. Yeah, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
I could hook it up to an app, which is really cool. Then you can control a lot of that. So like, let's say I built like a small off-grid cabin, like I can see where it's at. I can tell it to like cycle on and off like certain things. It's pretty cool, honestly. I think if you would want to do it right and do like a full powered, like, eco-friendly, like you'd have to get like DC appliances and stuff. Like you could probably spend like $1,500 and get like their medium-sized models. And I'd say you could power like an off-grid, like tiny home or something, like no problem.
Sure.
Like if you were smart about how if you did all your lights to like 12 volt, if you did 12 volt systems, I think you could pretty much do everything, and then have solar panels constantly charge it. So it's kind of intriguing. And then I bought because we're going to have the ability to recharge, I also bought like a USB spigot. So we'll now have like a sink, and like it just slaps on any like jug basically, and then you just like press a button and it just like lithium rechargeable battery gives you running water. And so I'm gonna buy one of those. Like I probably won't get the 5-gallon like water cooler jug. I'll get like a 3-gallon one, and that'll be our drinking water and drinking water and washing water. But I was also thinking like that spigot thing, like if you bought a couple of them, and you had one that like you didn't care if it was contaminated or not. Like how convenient would that be if you were like remote boating or like backpacking somewhere and you just like fill a jug with lake water, like just so you had the convenience of like, you could take a shower with it. You could.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah.
So it's supposed to move like 27 gallons on a single charge or something. So,
jeez,
I don't know. Somebody else was like weird shit off of Amazon.
Yep. So you can I saw like an ad that you can buy like a tiny house straight from Home Depot.
Yeah, in Walmart now too. Yeah. Yeah, apparently Walmart's selling them as low as like $5,000 for some of these. They're basically just sheds.
Jeez.
The problem is like, those types of tiny homes are not legal in most places, right? I mean, you get by with with the fact that they're on wheels in a lot of these cities because like it's technically not a structure,
It's a camper, basically.
Yeah. So, but if you're buying these like shed kits, like you're really gonna have to make sure that your zoning's okay. I'd still like to, like, I've been watching land for sale all summer. I would still like to get some acreage on a lake. And then, yeah, that'd be what I'd do is just start off with a tiny home like that shed conversion thing. And I think it'd be fun just to see how cool you could make it not hooked up to anything.
Yeah. You don't even need electricity to it now.
No. Yeah. I mean, getting around a flushing toilet and shower is kind of a big thing, but
especially with girls, yeah, it's tough to sell for them. But
yeah, ladies don't like that. And I mean, I'm kind of pampered too. I mean, I'm hooked on bidet life, so I have to figure out an off-grid bidet myself. I guess it's just a squeeze bottle, right? Like is that the backwoods version of?
Yeah.
Just get like a Gatorade bottle and just have at her.
Hook that pump straight up to it.
Turns into an enema.
Yeah.
So what else have you been up to?
Oh, so the new season of I Think You Should Leave came out on Netflix.
Sorry, Jan. What is that one about again?
Boy, that's Tim Robinson, I think his name is. It's a sketch comedy. If you've seen his face, I'm sure you've seen it. He's in a lot of memes lately.
Oh yeah, yes, okay. I've watched a few clips from the show. I remember you telling me about it last time.
Yeah. So the new season came out, and I would say there's some really good ones in it. But overall, I think he's trying to one up everything, and it's getting a little bit too much. Maybe it's just my taste is getting, starting to change that way.
Sure.
But I still say it's excellent. It's definitely not for everybody because it's kind of that Tim and Eric style of like pushing a joke a little bit farther than it should be, or it would normally be going.
Yeah, I still need to. I have watched parts of that. I should just sit down and watch the whole thing because it's kind of right up my alley.
Yeah, there was one skit where I was on the floor laughing. I was just crying from laughing so hard. It shows him at a drive-through, paying for his order, and he's like, you know what? Let me pay for the guy behind me. He's like, oh, that's so nice. He's like, yeah, I just want to do something nice for the world, and hopefully they pass it on to do it for somebody else,
Yep.
And then he gets his card back, and he just speeds out of the drive-through, and he does a Yui and tries to go.
So he's the next one in line?
Well, it would be the guy. There's a guy behind him.
Okay.
But he would be the one after that.
Okay. So he's hoping that guy's going to repay?
Yeah. So he gets up to the thing and like all in one breath, he's like 55 burgers, 55 fries, 55 shakes. It's like total is $680. Okay. He drives up gone.
Oh my gosh, it's awesome.
Yeah, and then there's confrontation, and
Was the whole thing with the guy behind him staged too? Like, or was it like an actual innocent bystander who just got it?
No, these are all just skits.
Okay.
They're just like all written out. Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. That's a good idea.
But the guy that's up to pay, he gets pissed and he gets out of his car and starts yelling at him like, "I'm not paying for that. I'm not paying for that." And the lady's like, there's another lady behind them and she's honking her horn like, "Get back in the car." And he's like, "No, this guy's trying to start a pay it forward chain." So the lady like backs up and starts ordering 55 fries.
Oh, that's funny.
It's good. That show, when it hits, it's funny, some of the funniest stuff you'll ever see. But when it doesn't, it goes on. It's like, you got it.
Yeah, I mean that's just like Tim and Eric too, right? Like you'll either be dying or sometimes you go like a whole episode without even like cracking a smile.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to watch more of that Auntie Donna because they got like another show, but I don't think it's available anywhere full episodes in the US at all yet. It's like just an Australia thing or whatever. But like some of those clips have been just wild too, where it's like I think it's like Auntie Donna's like coffee shop or whatever is this new show they've got. There's one where it's just like a guy walks into the coffee shop. I don't know if I sent you the link, and they're just like the two guys are like singing a song like "Which one of us has a vibrator in our bottoms?" And like dance around, and then it just cuts to the third guy, and he's just like, it's just so stupid. But yeah, I've been watching highlights because they've been showing like clips and stuff, and then they posted a video like where they made the like whatever national news about how like disgusting their show is and like how nobody should be watching this, and like they're like, "Sorry, boomers."
So, oh man,
I hope that comes to some kind of streaming here.
I'm sure it will, right?
Those guys are just wild. I'll have to watch that though. I'm sure that's trending right now. It's gotta be like top 10 on Netflix.
Yeah, I mean, there's only like it only makes like 6 or 10 or something like that
so it's pretty
a season. So yeah,
I'll have to check that out. Nice.
It's good in like shorter spurts. I wouldn't like binge watch that because it's like
one here and there is plenty.
At the end of it, you're just like, "Yep, the guy is screaming again." He's yelling.
Nice.
Yep.
Notes. Fast and Furious board game. What's that about?
Yeah, so since summer's hit, the kids are home, the two older kids. They've been home and play on screens almost all day long. You know, you try and be like, you gotta stop doing that. Right. Make them go outside and do that for a little while. But any little moment you're not watching them, they're just back on it, you know? So at night we've been doing a lot of board gaming lately.
Okay.
Getting into board games. I'll talk about another one later, but we played the Fast and the Furious. I think it's called Highway Heist or something like that. And it's a little ridiculous because the scenario that we played was like a semi truck that it was a tank. Yeah, you're chasing down a tank.
Naturally.
And enemy SUVs, and basically you're getting out of your car, you're jumping into other cars, jumping on the tank, you're fighting people on top of cars, then you're wrecking their cars, trying to wreck them in front of the tank, and that's how you damage the tank. But yeah, it's
all happening through like cards or what?
Yep, it's all what is it? Cards and different actions that you can take. Basically, you choose the different actions that you're going to take. But yeah, a lot of it is like getting out of your car, and you can no longer use your car, and sometimes like your car like just falls off the board after a while because nobody's in it. But my favorite part is that you cannot die in the game. It's just like, no, the players cannot die. They just end up on the next car, the nearest car that's still around, like on top of the hood.
Well, I mean, yeah, Paul Walker's still alive in the damn series, so I even watched that new trailer like for Fast 10 or whatever. There was another character that died like 2 films ago. It's like, well, I guess he's officially back.
Really? Jeez.
Huh.
I just watched 9 this week, so
I'm sorry.
Yeah. It was a little weird.
I mean, when they get to space and how the guy from Tokyo Drift became a rocket engineer.
Yeah, with his friends. Yeah.
You should watch the like there's a YouTube like was it like boardroom pitch for like that one, like Fast 9. You guys like, how do they learn how to navigate like spaceships? Because street racing. Oh yeah, that makes sense. Just like over and over again. It's just so stupid. 9 is so bad. Like
it is
in every level. They throw everything out the window. They like make jokes about how none of them can die and are basically immortal. And
they talk about how like, what if this was a movie? And like,
yeah,
even in the spots where it's like everybody is saying, okay, that's totally unbelievable. Even like the other characters like, what? How did that happen?
Right. Yeah, and they take the whole like car surface as flesh thing like way too hard. Like you can fall from the sun, but as long as you land on the hood of a car, you're fine. You know what I mean? Like they just pushed it so hard. We haven't gone to 10 yet because
no,
I don't think I want to pay for that in the theaters. We'll just wait till it comes home. Does 9 start off with Dom leaving too? Is that right?
No, he's the one staying home. Okay. Letty is leaving, and then
yeah, so it must have been like the one before that, or
yeah, that was the one before that.
Family.
Yeah, and then in 9, there's like fuck my family. Not really. I like my family. But it was funny because my kids have never seen any of the movies. Okay. And we were playing that board game and he was just like, I don't understand how they're fighting all over. And like, he was interested. He was like, how do you know all these characters and these people? You know? I'm like, oh, there's 9 of these movies, 10 of these movies now.
Yeah. Hobbs and Shaw. Well, there's 11. So, is there 11? 12
yeah,
in the whole universe.
Yeah. So we, that's why we watched 9 then. And he's like, okay, I understand.
But I don't understand.
Like the board game, like how ridiculous it was to just be doing these actions over and over. Yeah. It's like, yep, okay, makes sense. I almost wanted to turn on the first one and then be like, now look at these people.
Yeah. Well, the first one is arguably good. Like I think the first one's genuinely good. I also think Tokyo Drift is genuinely good.
Yeah, but they're like dramas. Yeah. The first one is just a drama. It's not even
how they even made like. Well, you watch the second one and how bad that is, and like then you understand why they went Tokyo Drift. But like how they kept it afloat after that.
Yeah.
It's gonna live on as like just the most ridiculous cinematic thing. You know, there's gonna be the sad thing is like there will be people who are like kids in our generation who are just like huge Bond people. Like, oh, I love Bond movie, you know, like watching all the Bond films from like the 60s and 70s and 80s. There's going to be like twisted kids in like 20 years that are just obsessed with like this classic film franchise of Fast and Furious.
I got to get my collection of the 20 Fast and Furious movies all in one, the box set.
And then they'll get, they'll reboot it and have, it's going to be bad, man. Interesting. Well, so is the board game good if you're a fan then, or is it just kind of
I found it frustrating because the only way to win the game basically is to destroy the tank. And the only way you could destroy the tanks is to wreck cars in front of them.
Okay.
So it was a lot of like, you're just trying to push these cars in front of the tank and then wreck them. And some of it is just kind of not a whole lot of strategy. And then there's like all these scenarios that keep happening until you get to the end one, and if you can't do the end one in time, you lose.
Oh.
But the end one is just like you attack the tank, and if you roll enough dice, you beat him. It's like, okay, so we played like an hour to get to this end thing where it's just like, just roll the dice and see.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of those movie tie-in games especially just have like the most, they either have like rules that make no sense or like just the whole point of the game is just awful. Like it's almost better to do the Monopoly tie-in thing, right? Like at least it's just the game with the like the rules are good and then it's just got like things I like about it, you know.
To some extent, but even like Monopoly, like if you play like Mario Kart and we have I think Animal Crossing,
yeah,
they're like completely different.
Yeah,
I mean, there's some structure, main structure to it. The board is the same, but like the rules are totally different. It's weird.
The best Monopoly, because yeah, I agree with you. Some of the, there's one of those Mario ones that I like. I think it's the Mario Kart one I like. The other one is like
because you can go around twice, and that's the game,
right?
That's
and
great.
Yes, and that's what Monopoly needs with a family with kids because you need that time limit. But there's the one we've got too that's like Monopoly, like Jackpot or something, where like it's essentially just like a gambling game, and you just like spin a wheel.
Oh, nice!
So like it ends pretty quick.
So it's like, Monopoly for like millennials.
Yeah. And like I always go hard. Like I just bet full hand. Like I bet everything all the time. So like I'm either out at the very beginning or I've won the game instantly. And
wow.
It's pretty good. It's a good note for millennials, yeah. I'm a big fan of classic Monopoly. When you like allow bartering.
Yeah,
some of those games
you have to have the right people though. You have to have the right people to play with.
You have to, and like my family isn't into that. Like because you'll always get one of the kids who just wants out, so then they'll like cash out to whoever they like the most, which isn't me because Dad's being a jerk trying to win the game. So, yeah.
Basic Monopoly is fun. It's just I don't know if I have the time to do it anymore.
It's too long of a game anymore. That's for sure.
Yeah, but we've been playing a lot of board games.
That's cool. We bought a bunch because we thought we'd start playing them this summer, and we've mostly just been doing like ping pong. So,
yep.
I heard ping pong now is like helps prevent the spread of Parkinson's. Like, so it's like if you have Parkinson's, you can like keep your shit together better if you use ping pong as like your activity.
So it's like the eye-hand coordination part of it must be.
Yeah, there was like some study.
Huh.
So it's like the equivalent of reading for people with Alzheimer's, I guess. So.
Huh.
But trying to convince my wife that she needs to read a lot of books because they say that like nuns in monasteries that have like only read their entire lives like function highly once they get Alzheimer's for longer.
Huh.
And it runs my wife's family, but she doesn't read shit, so she's gonna forget who I am by the time she's 50.
Oh. Well, depends on if that's a positive or a negative.
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't know. Like, is it considered rape if she doesn't know who you are? Probably, right? So it's not going to end well for anybody.
I've seen 50 First Dates. This will be.
Yeah, it's going to be a sad version of that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So what's this cassette thing?
I'll just do this one quick because we booted it up on Xbox Game Pass. I think it just dropped this last week. Okay. It seems like it's an indie version of Pokemon, but your Pokemon are cassette tapes that you put in a Walkman.
So the cassettes are alive and unleash animals because it's cassette beasts?
I think you turn into the beast by listening to the music.
And are they like music related monsters? Because wouldn't it have been more clever to then call it cassette beats? I'm just saying they missed an opportunity.
Yeah, that would have been the way to go. Yeah, it's a 2D knockoff of Pokemon. I mean, it's straight up doing the same art style kind of, but it's got a lot more character to it, a lot more vibing to it because of the cassette stuff. And
do they go like retro, like 80s soundtracks and 90s stuff?
Yep. Cool. Better music. Your moves or whatever are stickers that go on the cassette, so that's kind of cool.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just got kind of a cool vibe to it, and it's straight up Pokemon, but not in, straight the Pokemon form. So it's very familiar, but also it's something different, which is kind of interesting because I've never seen one that's flew this close to Pokemon.
Okay.
But yeah, this seems to be pretty much just Pokemon.
Is it linear? Is there any exploration? Or
we're only like an hour or two in, I think. So I haven't gotten too far. It seems like you're going different areas on the map to collect essentially a gym badge, which is the Pokemon version of it. But yeah,
cool.
It's interesting. I don't know if we'll play a whole lot if we're going to keep going with it too much, because I don't know if we'll see. You know how that goes.
Real game instead of
yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Is there much new on Game Pass this month? Like, I just haven't seen anything in a while that's caught my eye. And are we going to get Diablo 4 on Game Pass, do you think? Like, is that deal ever going to go through?
It hasn't yet.
Because it's out now.
I know. That sounds like it's pretty good too. But why would you do that? How could anybody release a game like that during Zelda? I don't know.
I know. That's why I've had a few people text me. Brandon from South Dakota text, and he's like had the timer on there, like it's coming. I'm like, that's gonna be my cold weather game.
Yeah.
I'll wait. They'll patch some stuff. There'll probably be DLC, maybe not on console by then. But I'm like, I can't touch it right now. I want to, but I want people who are gonna have time to like run through it with me. And right now, I know that everyone's into Zelda.
So. Yep.
Yeah. Have you looked at reviews? Were they favorable?
Yeah, I've heard they're pretty good. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know just like the current state of Activision, and then 3 was such a departure, really. And I mean, I liked what 3 became, but I didn't know if they could do that again or how it would play out.
Yeah, I started on PC with 3, and then I never really came back to it once it got to console.
Yeah, I felt like it was just at home on console to me. Like it just felt like it was designed for that. I know there's like some significant differences, but yeah, I just liked the way it played and being able to have like the roll button on console. And
yeah, that's huge.
So yeah, we'll get there. But yeah, I agree with you. Like the fact that it dropped when it did is not going to help it. I mean, it'll do real well regardless, but
yeah. There's another huge one that just came out too. I forget what that one was.
That we all forgot about already?
Yeah. Was there a new Horizon game?
Maybe.
I don't know. Who would know?
Well, should we do staff picks?
How about I forgot about this, about a $3,500 VR headset.
Oh, yes. That hooks up to like a battery pack that you keep in your back pocket, I guess. The joke at work was like, my boss was like, they kept showing the cord. They never show where it goes. It's like, oh, it's rectal powered. Like that's the insert. Great battery life. Yeah. So what is it? What is Apple officially calling this?
The Apple Vision
Air Station?
Apple Vision Pro. I saw somebody say prohibitively expensive.
Well, and I saw that's got like 2.5 hour battery life, so not exactly functional either. Yeah, so if you missed the news, basically what they've done is they've basically just given you a pass-through VR headset that just lets you put, I guess it's AR.
Yeah.
But you just put your desktop assets all over your real world vision and stuff. Yep. And then they were also pushing the FaceTime aspect, which I was like, I don't understand how that works. Because like, does it just like give you an avatar that animates? Because you're not actually looking at the person. Otherwise, you'd just be a bunch of dipshits staring at each other through ski masks.
Right.
So, yeah.
There's lots of questions on that. I think. But at that price point, like, it doesn't matter how cool or what new tech it does. Like,
but I feel like it doesn't even do new tech. I feel like it just does the pass-through mode that VR headsets already do for like room scaling.
Yep.
But it lets you slap your desktop stuff up on there.
Yep.
Like, I don't know. To me, like when you boot up,
people
like
can see your eyes through it, so it's worth way more.
But you can tint it though too, right? So you could be like incognito. Yeah, I think until this gets to like Google Glass size, like, I don't see. I just can't imagine. I mean, like the only like viable, real purpose I can see for this is like, let's say you're a person who travels constantly, and for your job, and you like multi-screen workstations. Like, that's not practical. You're always in and out of hotels. Okay, this is great. Like, you're on the road, you're in your hotel room, you slap it up, you got everything you need, right? That's cool. But not if it only lasts 2 hours. You know?
Yeah. What's the point then?
And yeah, I guess you could see your keyboard and stuff. That's going to be cool. But yeah, I don't know who's going to buy this.
You still have to put it on your face. That's the problem.
That is the problem. And they're already like greenlighting human testing of that neural link. I saw a guy with a big bolt coming out of his head. I mean, isn't that better?
You saw how Twitter is being run, and you thought, yeah, let's let that man connect my brain to it.
Oh, speaking of Twitter, have you been seeing like him going nuts on how there should be a class action lawsuit against Target about their whole backlash with the Pride stuff, and then like somebody piggybacked onto that and they're like, yeah, nobody wants these like politically woke companies. I was like, since when does not hating gay people, like, how's that political? I think it's just called not being an asshole. But like, I was like, are we really at the point in this country where we're gonna have shareholders suing companies for, I don't know. Anyway, that's a whole other story. But yeah, the Apple thing is, I just don't get it, I guess.
It's like the ultimate. I feel like it's a test. It's like a data test for Apple to like scour their whole market to know all the people that will buy anything? That will buy their product no matter what. Because that's
staggeringly, I guess the PlayStation 2 VR sales are ahead of what PlayStation VR was. So clearly people are willing to throw money on stuff that is going to be very niche and not supported. So yeah, I just don't like I don't like the look of it. I don't even really like what it's offering. I guess it gets us one step closer to like Ready Player One. So
yeah,
I guess the next thing will be like the full body sensation suit coming from like Pornhub exclusively on the Apple Air. Yeah, I'm not sure who this is for.
Yeah, like the part where they were just like relive memories, you know. It's like, why would you, if you're in the moment, why are you wearing that freaking thing on your head anyway?
You just engage in life, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like there's the scenario of the guy just like sitting on his couch, like playing the movie. I'm like,
yep,
just get a TV. Just get the TV.
It's wild. That I mean, Apple is they're in a whole other class with this type of shit anyway.
Right.
But that's
well, and it's weird too that they announced this so far out, because like usually when they do like this sort of stuff, it's like available now for pre-order, but like they weren't even there yet.
I don't know. I don't
know.
I think I saw this was this is like the first time that their stock went down after one of their press conferences. It's like,
well, yeah, because who's it? Who's it for? It's not a game. Yeah. It's not going to be a gaming thing. It's not going to be. I don't know. Like I said, there's a couple small practical scenarios where I could see that being worth it, but also for $3,500.
I'm just surprised that they got into it anyway, because it's like, you see how much Facebook is spending and getting nothing for it. Why wouldn't you? And they're one of your biggest competitors. Why wouldn't you just let it be like, yeah, you just go die on that hill over there?
And Microsoft, who, 8 years ago was touting how they were coming in and partnering with everything, and how the HoloLens, and then like they've been the ones that like read the writing on the wall and just were like, no, that's not the market we need to be in right now. So yeah, it's weird. But they need, like, other than phones, like they need something, right? Like I feel like Mac penetration is at the lowest point it's been at in forever.
There's been rumors that they've been making a car for a long time that they're gonna. Can you imagine what's the price point on an Apple car?
Oh God,
100,000.
I'm sure. Yeah, I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
Do you just like plug your phone into it then, and then they just need to bring back the iPod, the original fat 4 gigabyte OG iPod. It's just resurgence.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well,
the steering wheel has the clicks when you move it.
Yes. Oh, how great would that be? That's the steering wheels. You just like rub your thumb on that little. That'd be great, man. Miss that. All right. Well, let's do staff picks then. I'll let you go first. I didn't even look at what you put down here.
Yeah, I got another board game.
Really?
Yeah, this one it's kind of a whole system. The one that we have is a Marvel Dice Throne, it's called. But there are a billion different characters that you can buy for this as like an expansion set or whatever.
Okay.
And basically it is a card game in the vein of like a Magic the Gathering or Pokemon or whatever, but the deck is self-contained. Like you're not buying new cards for your deck.
That's kind of nice.
If you want to buy a new character, you can do that. You get a whole new character. But what it comes down to is the actions that you can do. Whereas like in Pokemon, it's like, these are the two things that you have, and you need to have 2 energy cards or something to use it, right? Mm-hmm. This is you roll dice to see what energy you have or what mana you have or whatever to spend. So it's a lot more variable and a lot less, there's a lot more luck involved, which I find is kind of more fun, because other people just like, can roll a Yahtzee on something and just have their ultimate power, Right. And it's like roll 3 times to, try and gather what you want. So what you have is a whole board of all the different like attacks that you can do, and like what dice you need to do those attacks. And then the cards are, things that modify different things. You can upgrade your attacks and do different things, change the dice. So I bought that recently, and we've been playing that quite a bit. And it's fun because it's, it changes all the time because the dice are, random. So it's like you have to change on the fly for like what your dice is. It's like, oh, I guess I'll go for this attack then, instead of having like a pre-built strategy of like what you're going to do.
Okay. Sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then like, so it's themed after like a property, or it's not? It's just like
the original ones aren't. They're all like ninja and gunslinger, and like one of them is Santa. You can be Santa, but they've done Marvel ones now, so it's a lot of superheroes and stuff like that. But you can use them in the same system, so it could be Santa versus Iron Man, So it's kind of fun. It would be kind of fun to mix and match those. We only have the Marvel ones right now, but
sure,
I could see us getting into it and maybe getting a couple other characters.
So are those ones you see in like the comic book stores with like the little packs with like, or is it a different thing altogether?
It could be. Yeah, it could be. Okay. Because all it does is all you need is a. Oh, no, probably not. They comes with a board, okay, and their dice and a little small deck of cards for them.
Okay.
But they're themed really well. The actions that you're taking and the things that you can do are very in theme of like what the character would be.
Okay. Is it just like you're trying to be last man standing? Is kind of the
Yeah.
objective?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. It's a health system, so you're attacking, but there's different, different ways of going about that, of course. But
Sure.
there's one that I really like where we play Loki. I play Loki a lot. And obviously he's like all about playing tricks on people and stuff like that. So when they attack you, you can lay down 3 cards. I can look at them. One of them is good for me, one of them's kind of 50-50, and one of them's bad for me. And I can lay them down. I can tell the other person what one I want them to pick, but they ultimately get to choose.
Yep.
So it's just a mind game. It's like paper, rock, scissors.
Am I being lied to? Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a fun mini game inside of this other game, and it's totally like in what Loki, it feels like being Loki would do. So yeah, Dice Tower or Dice Throne. Yep.
I see we're getting Loki 2 here pretty soon.
On what?
Disney. Like the series.
Oh yeah, so it's at a second season.
Yeah, that's
sure.
Second season. Winchester's got canceled. Side note.
What?
Yeah, that's done. That wasn't a very good series anyway. They did enough to screw up the lore of the original series. But anyway, complaints about that aside. Well, that sounds like a cool one. I probably have to check that out because yeah, we enjoy board games too. Something like that where it gets a little competitive is fun.
Mm-hmm.
My staff pick. I watched that Evil Dead Rise.
That was quite a switch.
Yeah. So yeah, part of the Evil Dead series. I kind of prefer it to the remake. I wasn't a big fan of the 2016 reboot or whatever. They just kind of did the same movie with a female Ash. This was heavy on the gore, lacking any of like the camp or the comedy. It's just a gore fest, which I feel like is kind of what the remake did too, and also the Evil Ash versus Evil Dead went heavy on guts and stuff. Obviously, there's some comedy there. But yeah, it all takes place in like inner city, in an apartment complex, which is a nice change of direction. But it's all the same stuff: Necronomicon, the lore. The Raimi elements are still pretty strong, but it's more geared towards like a blood fest, and it was good. I think it's a good direction to go for like a new series. I assume because it's Rise, the way they set it up, it didn't end, of course, or it's not buttoned up. I assume that it'll continue on as this is a new direction. But yeah, it's really worth watching. It moves pretty quick. It doesn't waste a lot of your time. Gets kind of right into like the blood and the guts, and they just go for it. And it's all pretty creepy and pretty disturbing. And yeah, it has a happy-ish ending. That's the thing I've always liked with like the Evil Dead stuff is like you never walk away from those films like somebody was the victor. You know what I mean? Like there's always like a price to pay and like a twist. So
yeah.
It was pretty good.
Well, the protagonist is like a child, right? In this one,
it's a female. Yeah, there are kids that are involved though.
Yeah,
it's basically a story of 2 sisters, and the one has kids, and
okay,
and, yeah, it all starts kind of that way, and the mom ends up getting possessed, and then it's the domino effect after that. So it's pretty wild.
And then, yeah,
I made the mistake of letting my son watch it, and then I had to sleep on the couch with him because he couldn't. And so they had been watching like some travel channel, like True Ghost Stories or whatever earlier in the day. So she thought that spooked him out, but then she went to bed and we watched that. And then like he came in at night and was like, "I'm scared. Can I sleep with you?" She's like, "No, but I'll go sleep on the couch with you or whatever." So she's like, "Yeah, that show must have really spooked him out." And I was like, "Yep, that must have been it." And then my daughter came upstairs from the basement like later that day and ratted us out. So I was like, "Oh, thanks."
Oh man,
so we were lying pretty good. So
I don't think I could do that one.
No, I mean those movies. I mean, if you're not into like into the gross and the guts and anything with kids is always tough. Like, it's not going to be a movie for everybody, and it's a completely. It almost feels like a completely different thing than the initial property it was based on. Because like, I don't know. To me, when you lose some of you need some of that humor in there.
Yeah,
like make it feel like it's really part of that universe. And this just goes so hard into not being that, but it's good. I recommend.
Yep. So this one didn't have anything to do with that last one, though, huh?
No.
Like there was no connection at all, really. Huh? Okay. Interesting.
At least not that I can remember.
Okay.
I feel like that reboot was just all sort of self-contained, though, and maybe there was, and I forgot something, but it didn't seem like it to me because the way the Necronomicon is found and like how it all starts is like a completely new origin story from anything else. So
I'm waiting for like, is the next one? It's going to be like somebody read it on a podcast or something like that, right?
Like a creepypasta sort of thing. Yeah, yeah. I'm curious to see what they do with it now because I think it did pretty well. So I'd imagine there will be a follow up.
Yeah. Huh.
And there isn't like a lot of horror stuff going on right now. It seems like everything's Marvel.
They're not really involved, like Raimi and Bruce Campbell. They're not really involved.
I think it was mostly like with like executive producer, that sort of thing. Like they were involved in parts of it, but I think the directing and all of that was done by a different group. I know that they kind of did the whole press junket with everybody, that tour, but yeah, some fresh blood in there for sure.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, is it time for the weekend rental? I've been putting it off. All right. So the weekend rental, if you're not familiar, we play a game for a given system. We make an opinion and we decide whether we would personally buy, rent, or burn that game at the end of the day. The system of choice this go around, it's the good old Super Nintendo. And the game is Claymates.
Wait, Claymates? I bought this Playboy. I bought this Playboy game for nothing.
Sounds like you had a way better time than I did. So Claymates is a side-scrolling platformer where your protagonist is made out of clay and he transforms into other clay stuff. It's an interplay game that saw, I would imagine, Clay Fighters and
it's the same developer.
And Donkey Kong Land, and they're like, hey, this 3D rendered thing is a good thing. We should make a platformer out of this. But yeah, I didn't even put together that Clay Fighters. Yeah, it was the same dev. And basically you're given like no plot. You're a little boy whose dad's a scientist and has a serum that can transform things into clay. And then a witch doctor in a witch doctor mask, grass skirt, and a spear just teleports in the room, whisks dad away, and in the process, the little boy gets turned into a blob, and you're on your way
into your yard.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, a clay rolling around in a yard.
It'd be filthy.
Ugh. Gross.
Yeah.
Then it turns into a side-scroll platformer. Maze platformer, maybe? I would describe it as a maze platformer because
it's probably accurate.
It I don't know if this is like a memory thing to save on memory or something. That games did this, but they use every square inch, it seems like, of the map. Yeah. They're just making go every which way, teleporting you, making go in the sky, come back down, backtrack, just a whole bunch of stuff. But it's not like Sonic where you can just, hey, there's 3 different ways to get to the end. No, this is just
you have like to do the thing.
Yeah, you just end up at the end somehow.
And the worst part is like they set this all up with a clay thing, so like you could be a transforming clay kid, which you would think would give you like lots of cool game opportunities to really like vary up the gameplay. But like the level design isn't based around that at all. So basically every form of the kid, whether he's a rat, a cat, a ball, everything has a jump and everything has an attack. One isn't really better than the other. So at the end of the day, it's just kind of like this pointless feature because they don't build the levels around it at all. And
there's some things like the cat can climb straight up on some things.
Yeah. Which looks stupid as hell, by the way.
Yeah. It's just a 90-degree sprite going up. Yeah. Just the whole levels are littered with crystals that I'm not sure. I think they're just points.
Or do they weigh into like you getting the bonuses at the end at all?
I don't know. Like they count down at the end of the level and give you bonus points.
I love the TNT boxes that you jump on, and it just has a balloon that blows up and says "Great job," which I guess is the checkpoint. But it'd be nice if it just said checkpoint, so you knew.
But how do you even know if that's a good spot to be in?
Right, and sometimes
I might have backtracked.
Sometimes you'll go through a whole level too, and it'll be like one checkpoint, and then you'll get to another stage, and there's like 3 checkpoints within 20 feet.
Yep.
So I just don't get it. And like this game is insulting to all the senses. Like I was telling Andy before we started that this feels like the video game version of like waterboarding and just water torture, because it's just horrific on the eyes. The level design is atrocious, and then it starts you off with this like stupid carnival-ish background track that just loops every 30 seconds, and it's the whole I assume maybe it changes when you get to different worlds.
I don't think so.
Oh god. So that's the whole game then. It is the most grating background track, like to the point where I was getting like shaking with rage, and I had to put this game down and come back because I just couldn't hear that tune anymore.
Yep.
It's bad.
It's certainly it's Big Top Circus music, that's for sure. It's bad.
And then in between each stage, like weird things happen to like almost have to play these like crappy little mini games to like navigate to the next level. It's almost like it feels very like PC-ish or like DOS game, like in that way, like like a Commander Keen, or it's just weird.
Yep. It's you at the end of each level you earn 2 robots
for no reason that's explained.
Yeah, then the robots are on the overworld with you that you have to direct them. It's very Choo Choo Rocket to me.
Yeah,
like that. They all go right.
Yep.
It's that type of puzzle where you have to get them to an axe and then they chop down a tree so you can get to the next level, and it's just that over and over again. After 4 levels, you face a boss. This is the first one. It's just a flying dog beagle that you just shoot. Doesn't really do anything.
It looks cool, at least.
Yeah. Look at that shine on that. It's like there's lighting in that. It's amazing. Then you get shot in a rocket or on a cannon across the earth, a clay earth, and then just end up in another world and do it all over again. The second one, I know you didn't get too far in the game, but
no, 4 levels in.
Yeah. So the second world is water focused. So even better. There is a fish that you can become, and it is on the scale of water levels in games. It's near the bottom of good water levels in games, and that's a pretty low bar of fun gameplay already. So
on a scale of 1 to 10, you can't.
Oh, yeah, it's not fun. I found that I explored a lot in the first world, trying to get all the stuff find all the secret areas, get the bigger gems. And then once I realized it was all for naught, didn't really matter. It all didn't matter anymore. I got all the letters. So at the end of the game,
what happened?
I think that's where I got in bonus hell.
Okay.
There's 2 bonus games that I played anyway. The one that you played too is the one where you're bouncing up and down kind of from top view. That one's fine. That was about 30 seconds. It's great. The second bonus, I think that's the one that you get when you spell clay. It is a 10-minute level of just bouncing. It's like casino level in Sonic with the bouncers and the bouncy pegs. And it's just 1,000 of those. And you're just trying to navigate. You're bouncing off this stuff. There is no flat area on the entire game, on the entire level. You're just bouncing uncontrollably. You have no idea where you're going for 10 minutes. It was awful. And that was the bonus level. I earned that.
Oh, did you make it through?
I did. It was 2 minutes left. And
what did you get for it? Extra life?
Some lives. Yeah, I think that's all I got out of it. It was, yeah.
The fact that they thought that was like the reward is just amazing.
I think I broke 1,000,000 points. Because every time you bounce on something, you got some points. But
yeah, it's just this game is just so poorly put together, and it's apparent from that very first level where they basically, like you said, they used the entire available real estate of what a level could be in memory, I assume, but they just have you instantly dive into a hole that walks you right to left all the way across the bottom of the game with nothing to do, and then you have to navigate all the way back. So it's just even a toddler would be sick of that 30 seconds in. And the fact that that's what they led off with. And that might have been some of the most enjoyable stuff I did in that game.
Yeah.
I thought it got way worse after that.
There's a lot of that in the sky too. I mean, this game is not the first of that where you're jumping on clouds all the way back to the beginning of the level for a bonus thing or something, but
it's very Bubsy-esque, I feel like.
Yes. Its level the color scheme, if this wasn't pre-rendered and this was just flat colors, this is very Bubsy.
Even that cat's face looks like Bubsy.
Yeah.
And didn't Interplay do Bubsy? No, Acclaim. Acclaim did Bubsy.
Yeah, I don't remember. Yeah, it's
a worse game than Bubsy.
I wouldn't go that far.
I like the first Bubsy.
The first Bubsy, I think there's just problems with being able to see. This game didn't have too much of that.
Right. It did have some weird enemy stuff where a couple of them came way fast, way faster than I thought was fair, but yeah, for the most part,
that's true.
I would say the biggest enemy here is just the level design. You always feel like you're mostly in control of everything, but there's just shitty jumps. Stuff's a little too sluggish as far as controls go. It just isn't good. It's not responsive.
Nope. There's one spot where I died in a pit because fuck me for thinking that there would be something down there, considering the entire level until that point there's tubes and a whole bunch of other shit under the ground.
Right.
But not there.
It's good level design.
Yeah. That was, So you can be a gopher, a cat, a duck,
a rat,
a fish.
Is it a gopher or a rat? Rat, cat?
There's a gopher and a rat. Yeah, they're both different. I don't know. I didn't get to be the gopher too much, so I don't know what he does. And the duck, I assume you could fly, but I couldn't figure out how to do it. But
look at what year this came out.
It might be
in North America.
So that would be the same year as Donkey Kong Country, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe something like that.
Let's see, when did DK come out?
So they were trying to do the same type of thing.
Yeah. I suppose they'd had some success with Clay Fighter. Or was this before or after?
I think this was after. I think this was after Clay Fighters. I think. Maybe not.
94, yeah, Donkey Kong. So yeah, Clay Fighters is probably before that. I feel like that was a pretty early game, right?
Yeah. I will say, if you can hold on to the extra, I mean, if you become an animal, and then if you try and collect another animal ball, then you get to throw the other clay ball. That feels pretty good. You feel a little bit overpowered because you can chuck that across the screen and kill people.
But you're also like wasting your power up. Like, wouldn't it have been better to have that as like, if I could take a hit now, that wouldn't. Well, I guess it does work that way too. But yeah,
because you go back one. Yep.
Yeah. They should have done something to make those look a little more cool though, because like it's really dumb that the power up is just like a floating sphere, but they're different colors.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean. Like, why not make it look like, why not a coin or something with like the animal's face on it,
or like a crate.
Yeah. Yes.
Like a crate that you could like throw,
right?
And you could have an animal power in this pre-rendered world.
Yes,
that would be crazy.
It'd be a better design than, this game does not feel great. And yeah, like you said, I saw Clay Fighters came out in 93, so okay. I suppose they thought like, hey, this tech would work good in like another application. And like from a technical perspective, like the rendering and like the model capturing and stuff like is really cool.
Oh yeah. It just, I mean, look at that dog. It looks cool.
Yeah.
I mean, if I saw that in 94, that's cool.
Most of the game doesn't look like that. Most of it looks like that vomit in the background you see.
Yeah.
Like all only the platforms and everything.
Yeah. Only the characters are pre-rendered, so it kind of looks a little weird.
Plus that second stage, like that's just Rescue Rangers opening level on the NES. Like they just stole that.
Yep.
It's bullshit. Yeah. It feels like a game made for very young children, but I don't even think very young children would find much joy in this.
I don't. If you felt rewarded, if you felt like the drive to explore and get all the crystals, I could see that being fun. That just didn't drive me.
No.
After the first few levels. Right away, I thought it was interesting because it is I want to see every bit of this maze, but there's no reward for it really. So other than points, I guess you could go for high points with your brother or something like that if you had this game, but yeah. It's not broken. Like I wouldn't say there's anything like unplayable or broken in this game. The control's a little loose, but
that's like saying my gutter's hanging halfway off my house, but it still gets most of the water, in the right direction.
Yeah.
It's not high praise.
No, it's
well,
it's a pick that's on the Nintendo eShop.
It's a choice.
It's a non-Nintendo game.
Sort of insulting that they include this with their online subscription, to be honest. So with that said, Byron Burn Scale, what are you doing?
You're think
generous, aren't you?
No, I think if I was younger when this came out, I would have said this is a solid rental. I don't think it's a good game though. In retrospect, it's aged pretty bad. I think Donkey Kong's gotten better since then. And this doesn't hold up at all. The type of game that they were making, they need to have more reward in it. Because right now it just feels like padding that doesn't. And you got to see that bonus level. That is one of the most infuriating things I've ever played in a video game, and it was a bonus stage.
I'll watch a let's play of it. I gotta check it out. Yeah, it's funny when you say I think it was a solid rental, because this feel like the game that you would find at the rental store? Because like I feel like when we were kids, you go to the rental store and there's always like the mascot platformer games with like the oddball characters you would have never seen anywhere else.
Yeah,
and the cover art on this just screams like local gas station rental store to me.
Yep.
But yeah, I hated this. I actively like I got heated at this game, at like how grating the game became with just my frustration of the level design and that fucking music. It was just awful. I just couldn't keep doing it. I have to burn it. Like I want to scrub it from my I wish there was a way to hide the games in the online collection for the Switch, because I don't want to see the tile anymore. I just don't want to look at it.
No, it's that music. I was looking at a review of somewhere because I was looking at Wikipedia. I was trying to find how many levels are in this thing, and there's
to
no
see if
information.
You're going to torture yourself.
There's nobody on the entire internet that has a list of how many levels or what the levels are in this game.
Never been done.
I want to bring up on GameFAQs. Should be something on GameFAQs, right?
Yep.
There was a guide and walkthrough written in 2003. And let's see, where did he leave off? He has nice formatting, everything. He has a walkthrough of level 1 and 2. Sunday, March 30th, 2003. I made the guide for the first level. Sunday, April 6th, 2003. I've had a busy week and haven't been able to do much, but I updated the first level so it shows how to get the gopher, and I updated the animal section for the animal abilities. I also added the special ability to the control section. And that's the end.
Even he couldn't do it.
No. He made it through 2. I wouldn't even say 2 levels.
That's depressing. It tells you everything you know about this game.
A guy who said, "Yeah, I like this game enough to do a walkthrough of it." It was like, nope. I've made a terrible mistake. I'm done. It's the only thing on the entire internet that has anything. I'm sure there's videos. Did not watch any playthroughs.
Yeah, there's like some sicko out there who like speed runs this game.
Oh.
It's not gonna be us.
Not us at all.
Well, with that, I hate to wrap an episode on such a turd, but I guess that is an episode.
All right, folks. There is one speed run of Cleanates listed. There's only officially one speed run for 17 minutes.
Oh, impressive.
That's that guy probably used some warps or something, some cheats. Gotta be. Not going to watch it, not going to waste my time. But we'd like to hear from you. You can send us a message at weekendrentalpodcast@gmail.com. We're on Twitter. That's about it. Until next time, be kind, rewind.